basically turns off the automatic key recognition for the harmonies. You can turn it on, shows you the current key and scale setup right there. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, there's a few reasons. One of them is if you're playing a riff at the time that you're singing, that can confuse the chord recognition, and the harmonies may move around to places you don't want them to. So you would set a fixed key and scale so the harmonies go where they want. You could stop playing if you want. You can play riffs. You can play whatever you want while you're singing, and the harmonies sound generally correct for the music that you're playing underneath them. Another reason you may want to do that is because we hear from a lot of singers and horn players that they'd like to use Harmony G, and so we put in the feature where you can set the key and scale from a standing position. Let me show you how to do that. So if you press both buttons and then you press the left, you go up through the keys, A sharp, B, C, D, or rather C sharp, D, and then the right button goes through the scales. So we've got 2, 3 major, 1, 2, 3 minor, and then we'll go back to major 2 there. So we're in D2. That's the scale we want to go to for this next song. And that leads me into the next part of what I was going to say was another reason you want to do this is because you might happen to like the sound of scale harmonies on certain songs. On this song that I do called There's More to You, when I play my gigs, I prefer the sound of scale harmony over the chord recognition. Let me give you an example of what it sounds like. I'll turn the manual off, so we'll let the chord recognition move the harmonies around for me. Listen closely to the harmonies and see what you think, and then I'll go into manual mode and you can hear the difference. The more I think I will recover, the less sense it makes. Even now as I discover, there's more to you every day. Well, that sounds pretty darn good anyway. But, let's go into scale mode and see what it sounds like. Remember, we just set it into D major 2, scale number 2. I'll do that again. Basically, just play the chord, hit the 2 buttons together, and it recognizes it automatically. While it's flashing, you can change it around if you like, but for now it's set to D2. So here it is. Manual's turned on, same voicing, same everything. It's just that the automatic chord recognition is turned off. The more I think I will recover, the less sense it makes. Even as I discover, there's more to you every day. See, that's just the sound that I like, and that's the manual button. And that can be stored individually for each of the A and B settings for each of the presets. So you could technically, if you had all 10 presets accessible, you could have like 20 different key settings with different intervals and effect settings on any of the presets that you want. So, like I said, you can store it on or off, and you can store the key differently for each of the presets if you like. If you don't, and it's much easier just to go ahead and let the guitar chord recognition do the work for you. But if you want to do some advanced stuff, go ahead and do that. Okay, let's talk about the manual button here. The manual button basically turns off the automatic key recognition for the harmonies. You can turn it on, shows you the current key and scale setup right there. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, there's a few reasons. One of them is if you're playing a riff at the time that you're singing, that can confuse the chord recognition, and the harmony